And the score is when this is school readiness for kindergarten. And above 2.5 is considered ready for kindergarten. And so what we found is what we expected, that families that are engaging with their children outside of school and doing these kinds of activities have children that are better prepared for kindergarten. This doesn't mean that this was the only thing that the parents were doing or the only thing that the teachers were doing, but we know that these kinds of hands-on interactions are what help children prepare for kindergarten, and that's what we saw in this internal evaluation that we did of their assessments. So I mentioned a couple times our partners, and this was really a resource that we developed for Chicago families in Chicago. We didn't really have any visions of it having a reach beyond Chicago. But as we started to talk about it and other school districts heard about it, they asked us, well, how could we be a part of this resource? And so we started talking with Dallas Independent School District, who approached us first and said, well, we'd like to do something like this. What was involved? How did we do it? And we were happy to share our development process. But what we realized as they reviewed the resource was that these are things that are really universal. And these are activities, and these are children that are very similar to what we're experiencing here in Dallas. So rather than start from scratch and build an entirely new resource, why not take what we've created and then adapt it so that it's customized to Dallas, but it doesn't have to be rebuilt from scratch? And especially when you're building a bilingual resource, if you've had that experience, you know it's very challenging to take something that's entirely in English and translate it well into another language and create all the pieces and components of something in an entirely different language. So we launched this idea of a national network. It was launched in 2003, again with Dallas Independent School District as our first partner. And the idea was creating a partnership that would share this resource, but also continue to invest in the resource and grow the resource and build it out in new and different ways. So we created this kind of an open forum for sharing solutions around parent involvement. Teacher professional development as well, but most strongly around parent involvement. And we looked at connecting educators, childcare providers, parents, administrators, and seeing how we could take ideas that are working and apply them in other parts of the country. So here's a list of our partners, our current partners. And essentially it's a licensing agreement where the school district licenses the virtual pre-K program from us. We customize it, we align it to their local standards, we create a version of the website that has the calendar of events that will be local, and they have access to their user information and the demographic information of who's registering from their local site. And then we've created these forums, so we have regular chats, video conferences where we're able to share how this is going. Other school districts learn from us because we've been doing it the longest, but we've started to learn now from other school districts who are applying it in completely different ways. For example, in Los Angeles, they've been doing a lot with migrant families and families that are moving around a lot, but having this virtual pre-K program as something that's being offered in several different counties and in several different locations means that they can try and continue supporting those families and the preschool children in those families with a resource that can move with them. That wasn't certainly something that we started off with when we started to develop virtual pre-K, but it's an interesting new twist and a new way that it's gone. And we have a new partner that's going to be starting with us this fall at San Mateo County, and also in Northern California. So we're excited to see it growing despite lots of budget cuts and scary things happening in the economy. This still seems to be a resource that has opportunities for funding and certainly has captured the interest of quite a few different parts of the country. And since we launched virtual pre-K, some of the funding that's come back through that licensing agreement has helped us grow the resource even further. So now we have a version of virtual pre-K that's for family child care, so for home-based providers and families, and also a virtual kindergarten program. When our parents were moving up to kindergarten, they started asking the teachers, well, where's virtual pre-K for kindergarten? And we're able to pull together the funds and be able to develop a resource that's kindergarten version. It looks just like what you've seen today, but it focuses on themes and concepts for kindergarten, and has a separate website, virtualk.org, that has the same resources and the same function as pre-K, but then focuses on that upper grade. So we're hoping at some point that we can continue to grow the resource in different directions. But ultimately, I think what this shows is this idea of user-created content, and that there's an incredible wealth of knowledge that's in the field right now, and very eager to share what they're doing. is a great opportunity, and that if there's a way to empower that end user to kind of share what they know, and to use technology in a way that integrates easily for them. There are some interesting opportunities out there and applications that I think go beyond just what's happening locally. Questions or comments or anything that you'd like me to clarify? Yes?
Well, it's really interesting. Congratulations on an incredible project. I may have missed this at the beginning of the presentation, but what percentage of the content that you currently have is user-generated, and what part of it is, feature-generated, and what part of it has been created by your team?
Well, I mean, it's entirely user-generated because it came from a team of teachers in the field. So 100%. And then we have this kind of movement towards the idea book and the blog, and that's kind of an emerging piece of the resource right now. So that's growing, but again, because we have certain challenges when you're talking about technology in early childhood, it's something that I see not just in Chicago, but in all of our partner districts. I've just been really moved by the fact that there are teachers that are eager to be more part of Web 2.0, but are just not comfortable there at all. And so